Hey everybody, Alex Swire-Clark here, emotional intelligence expert, author, and award-winning speaker. Here today to talk to you about another, yet again, emotional intelligence data point for you so that you can improve your life both professionally and on the personal side. And it's time for questions. And so as I've been traveling around, I've been in KC over the last month or so. I've been down in the Florida area. I've been out to, where have I been? Houston, Texas, all over the place. So as I'm doing these sessions with CEO groups and companies, I get questions all the time at the end in the Q&A section, and they're ranging in everything from, how do I apply this personally to, can I get these things, can I get assessments for my kids to whatever. And so in this most recent week, I had a great question. It said, Alex, how can we tell what type of style someone is without an assessment? How can we tell what personality style someone is without having it and have them take an assessment? Because if I'm meeting someone on a bus or in a train or doing prospecting or sales situations, I want to be able to get a good idea for what these people are, but not necessarily, I can't say, well, hey, if you take this personality assessment in 10 minutes, we can have a conversation because we can't do that. So in my talks, at the very end of my talks, I gave some really, really good tips that I will share with you if you come to one of my workshops, or if you take my online course, which you can find at alexswire-clark.com. But for the meantime, I do have a series of questions that you can ask, and I'm going to lead with one today. Watch for further ones on an upcoming video. What would that question be, and what is it going to reveal about the person that you're talking to? Stay tuned to find out. Hey guys, again, welcome back to the channel. All of my subscribers out there, whoop, whoop, appreciate you guys. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button below because we have great content that we put out all the time through the podcast, on the YouTube channel, and all that kind of good stuff, trying to help you improve your personal and professional relationships, because that's what it's all about. Busy intersection out here in front of me on the highway, and I know you've got busy things to do, so we'll get right to it. So again, the question was, Alex, how can you tell who someone is without an assessment in front of you? And again, there are lots of different ways to do it, by dress, by how they speak, their body language, and so forth. But some things that you can do is you can kind of ask them questions in general conversation, and that kind of lends them to go down a road, depending on the rapport that you've built, of who they are and kind of where their priorities are. Because if you've been to one of my workshops, you know that we talk about the priorities of different styles and how we lead with those things in general conversation, in business, and all those kinds of places. So to that end, one of the questions I wrote down is, who inspires you and why? Who inspires you and why? Because again, it goes back down to that inner psyche of who we are. This can tell us a lot about that person. So if I'm talking to a high D, high Ds are going to mention someone who has accomplished great things, who has set goals, who has achieved a lot, who is extremely, well known in their field. So for example, a high D might select someone like an Elon Musk, right? Determined, driven, creating stuff, cutting edge, doing things out there that a lot of people aren't doing, sending people up into space outside of NASA when people didn't even think that was possible. Tesla, obviously everyone knows that, and what he's done in the in automotive industry. So just a cutting edge person, like him or hate him. Donald Trump is a high D, and some folks think that he's really, really good at what he does in terms of moving America forward with entrepreneurship and the lessons he's learned there. Again, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what it is. So that would be more of a D kind of person that they would look up to. And I would look up to someone who is more inspiring. So think about Martin Luther King Jr., someone who inspired a nation during the civil rights movement to bring people together, to break down these racial bonds and to bring the country together moving forward. And inspiration can look like that with passion and purpose, like Dr. King. It can also look like that inspiration in terms of with humor. Like Robin Williams, he inspired a nation of comics. So you might say, oh man, I admire Robin Williams because it didn't matter the scenario. He could just turn on a dime and make something funny. And, I love Robin Williams to death. I think he's tremendous. I think his Inside the Actor Studio series where he was on there was absolutely phenomenal, and just a testament to his genius in terms of being a comedy guru. He's just fantastic. And then a high S, who is a more supportive type, might look up to someone, let's say like Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa was super selfless, always serving the poor, always serving those who were sick, spent her life Teresa of Calcutta, to help others. It wasn't about her. It was never about her. Very selfless in what she did. So high S's could look up to those kinds of people in terms of, those folks who are family oriented, who have done a good job raising their children, who have, gotten tremendous philanthropic efforts together to help folks. I mean, a lot. You see Matt Damon on social media all the time with his water project, trying to get pure water and consumable water in all parts of the world. Africa, parts of Asia, and so forth. And he does a great job with that. And so that's kind of a high S type of mentality. And then you got your high C's. And so high C's are going to admire or be inspired by folks who are thinkers, who have broken the boundaries of what we thought was possible. The Einsteins of the world, the Madame Curies of the world, those folks who have gone above and beyond, in terms of from a scientific point of view or from a logical point of view, famous philosophers and things like that, because they're inspired by the way that they've thought about things, and they've changed the paradigms in which we think about the world today. Going from atoms are made up of this, that, and the other, until now we have what is a nucleus and protons and neutrons and electrons. That Bohr model was just crazy, how it exploded. And then of course the models have changed over time. So those kinds of people, the Steve Jobs of the world, the Bill Gates of the world, those folks who are critical thinkers, who have taken an idea, taken a concept, and the world has changed as a result of their efforts. You think about Apple, you think about Microsoft and those things, just tremendous thinkers and how they do things. So you can't necessarily have an assessment in front of someone, but if you ask someone just a general question like this, I mean, this is not an intrusive question. Hey, who inspires you? Tell me somebody who's inspired you in your life. And they could make it very personal. It could be about a parent. It could be about an uncle, an aunt, a grandfather, whatever else. And you just ask a follow-up question, why were they so inspirational to you? And they'll lead you down a path, which is, you're inherently curious. Will provide some insights into who they are and that kind of thing. So always lead from those priorities. D's are about execution, achievement. I's are about fun and people and inspiring folks. S's are supportive and are going to think about others. And C's are those high-level critical thinkers. And so we base our role models on those kind of people for the traits that they have and the behaviors that they expressed in our lives. And whether that be, from a famous perspective all the way down to family members and friends. So that's a great way to start a conversation and, again, peel back some of the layers of the onion and identify who these people relate to, and therefore you can identify what their personality styles so you can communicate with them more effectively. Again, if you found this content valuable, please subscribe to the channel. Love to have you like any videos that are here on the channel that help you personally and professionally. We're always coming up with new stuff. We've got video courses that are up right now. We're going to be doing webinars for those here pretty soon in the month of October and into the first part of November, so be on the lookout for that. Any questions that you have, feel free to post them in the comments. Would love to answer those questions. I'm pretty fast in terms of turning around and getting you answers to your questions. Those folks who have asked questions know that. I care deeply about what you guys think and the questions that you have, and I want to make sure that I'm helping you transform the way you communicate and change your lives for the better. Again, Alex Swire-Clark saying thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.